Hebrew idiom, the Hebraicism, is likewise noticeable. Nevertheless, the modern opinion is that, quote, it seems better to regard Psalm 10, Psalm X, as a latter Mizmor chant composed at every empress must be neat.
Rewind and come.
Yes. Just rewinding it just a little bit, just a minute, 2 minutes. Yes, brothers and sisters, some more disciples and listeners joining I and I. We're going to just stream this part right here, this midrash for today's daily psalm. So let's just rewind right here.
Rewind and come back, selector. That's right.
Yes, give thanks, brothers and sisters. Here today's daily psalm.
Mizmor 8, Psalm 9, Psalm IX. Laminat Sayach, Al Mut Labein, Mizmor Le Dawi. Odeh Yahweh, Bikola Libi. Isapra, Kola Nifa Leoteka. Esa Mecha, We, Elazah. Rak. Zamra Shimka Elyon. Here. Verse Aleph, Beit, Gimel verses today's daily psalm according to the royal order of the Ethiopian Hebrews. And here after the order of Malachi, Edek, today's daily psalm. A little midrash on the Mut Labei, literally death to the sun. Lam Natsayach, for the leader, for the chief musician, for the overcomer. Lam Natsayach, Al Mut Labein, Mizmor Le Dawi, for the leader, the chief musician, for the overcomer upon Mut Labein, Al Mut Labein, Mizmor Le Dawi, the Psalm of David. Here, in some Hebrew manuscripts and in the ancient Greek and the Latin versions, the IX and the X are joined into one Mizmor, into one psalm, one chant, one intonation, and also in the authorized, revised Amharic Bible of Gormawi Negus Negas, Gormawi Haile Selassie, his Imperial Majesty's Bible, the Book of the Seven Seals. We also have the notes within the Bible itself that shows the connection, as with the Hebrew manuscripts and in some of the ancient Koine, the Greek and the Latin versions. Psalm 9 and 10 are joined and had been joined and associated together as one Mizmor. The same current of thought runs through both, and that is dependence upon Ha Elohim, the true good, the true God, for escape from the evil machina, the evil machination, schemes and conspiracies of the Yetzer Hara, of the bad mind, of the inclination to the evil. Also, there's a trace of an alphabetical acrostic, the Hebrew Aleph Beit, the Abaga, is discernible in the verses of the two psalms, although several letters are omitted. There's a resemblance in the phraseology, the Hebrew idiom, the Hebraicism, is likewise noticeable. Nevertheless, the modern opinion is that, quote, it seems better to regard Psalm 10, Psalm X, as a latter Mizmor chant composed as an appendix or a continuation of the earlier under different conditions, rather than as part of a Mizmor, a psalm, a chant that from the beginning was one whole. The Leech speaks to this point here. Now, this is in agreement with the Yehudi, the Judaic tribe tradition, even if we, the black Jews of the line of the tribe of Judah, that divides the competition into two separate psalms, two separate Ises, two separate chants. Here, I have a hymn of praise. The Is is for victory, for Yeshua and Yeshuot, for victory, for salvation over national enemies, national haters, and the historical background may be that narrated. We find a connection with the narrative in 2 Samuel, 2 Samuel chapter 8. Today's daily psalm, Mizmor 8. La Menatseach, Al Mut Labein, Mizmor Le Dawi. For the leader, Al Mut Liban. Here, today's daily psalm, Mizmor 8. Here in the superscription, Hebraically, the first verse, the phrase, Al Mut Alamut Liban, is to be understood, understood, understanding in the light, the illumination of the verse found in Ecclesiastes 3:11. He has made everything beautiful, beautiful in its time. Also, he has set Ha-Olam, the world, in their hearts. Bi-Libam. Rav, the Rakaya, said in the name of Rav Jonathan, do not read Ha-Olam, quote, the world, but Ha-Olalim, Ha-Olalim, the little children, Ha-Olalim. The verse means, therefore, that Ha-Elohim, true good, true God, has set love of little children in their father's hearts. For example, there was a king, a Melech, a Negus, even Negus Neges, who had two sons, one grown up and the other a little one. The grown up one was scrubbed clean, and the little one was covered with dirt. But Hamelech, the Melech, Negus, even Negus Neges, loved the little one more than he loved the grown up one. In a different reading of he hath set Ha-Olam, the unknown. He hath set Ha-Olam, the unknown, in their hearts. Rav Jonathan said, Elohim has set the fear, the reverence, the respect of the unknown angel of death, in their hearts. Rav, the son of Samuel, said in the name of Shemuel, Samuel, in the verse that we find in Bereshit in Genesis 1:31, and Elohim saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. It was Tov Me'od. The words Tov Me'od, very good, refer to the inclination to evil, the Yetzer Hara, in a man's heart. But how can the inclination to evil, the Yetzer Hara, be termed Tov Me'od, very good? Because Scripture teaches that were it not for the Yetzer Hara, the inclination to evil, a man would not take a Isha, a wife, a Eshet, nor beget children with her. And so the world could not endure. In another Targum, in another interpretation, the verse is read, he hath caused to be hidden, Ha-Olam, from their hearts. The word Ha-Olam being written defectively without the letter Wow, some say Vav, the letter Wow, is to be read Ha-Elim, caused to be hidden. Ha-Elim, caused to be hidden. That is HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Holy One, blessed be He, hid the day of death and the day of judgment from the hearts of His creatures. Therefore, David said, because thou hidest them from me, I shall sing a song for the leader, Alamut Liban, in praise of thy hiding of the day of death and the day of judgment from the heart. Another comment on Alamut Liban, concealed from the heart, Alamut Liban. The phrase is to be read in the light, the illumination of the verse. Kohelet sought to understand the ordinances of delight in Ecclesiastes 12 and 10. This verse means that Solomon, that Solomon sought to have Elohim explain to him the scriptural ordinances concerning the red heifer, the para aduma, whose ashes were used for lustration, especially the ordinance that Rav Yitzhak Isaac stated as follows, quote, all that have the care of the heifer make their garments unclean, but the heifer herself makes clean the unclean, end quote. Whereupon HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Holy One, blessed be He, quoted the conclusion of the verse. That which was written was upright, even ordinances of truth. and said, quote, for thy benefit I wrote long ago in the book of the upright, as it is said in Yehoshua, in Joshua 10 and 13. Is not this written in the book of the upright? Elohi Kultuva al Sefer Hayashar. Is it not written? Is it not written in the book of Jasher? Elohi Kultuva al Sefer Hayashar. Live uprightly, live simply, live faithfully. When I have issued a decree or established an ordinance, a statute, it is not to be questioned. As it is said in Bamidbar in Numbers 19 and 2, this is an ordinance of the law that Yahweh, that Jehovah hath commanded. Zot chukata ha-Torah asher siwah Yahweh. This is an ordinance of the law of ha-Torah. Zot chukat ha-Torah, that Yahweh, that Jehovah hath commanded. Asher siwah Yahweh. What is meant here by Zot, by this? Zot, this is meant to stress the fact that the series of ordinances, of statutes concerning the Para Aduma, the Para Aduma, differ from that concerning the sacrificial heifer that the elders of a city are ordained to take into a rough valley and there break its neck. Another comment on Kohelet, the preacher Kohelet sought to understand. Solomon sought to have Elohim explain to him the reward for the study of Torah. Of that we are told in Proverbs, Mashal, in Proverbs 3 and 15. She is more precious than rubies, and all the things thou canst desire are not to be compared to her. She is more precious than rubies, and all the things that thou canst desire are not to be compared to her. Hakadosh Baruch Hu, the Holy One, blessed be He, quoted to Shlomo, to Solomon, the conclusion of the verse in Ecclesiastes 12 and 10. That which was written was upright, even words of truth, and said, quote, for thy benefit I wrote long ago in the Sefer Hayashar, in the book of the upright, in the book of Jasher. Since the beginning of the world, men have not heard, neither hath the eye seen, O Elohim, besides thee, the eye, what he hath prepared for him that waiteth for him, according to Isaiah 64 and 3. Another comment, Solomon sought to have Elohim explain to him what is the reward of men who fear, who reverence Elohim, the true good, the true God, and who trust in him. Men to whom Scripture says, as in Malachi 3 and 12, y'all shall be a delightsome land. Thereupon Hakadosh Baruch Hu, the Holy One, blessed be He, quoted to Shlomo, to Solomon, that which was written, and said, long ago I wrote, according to Psalm 31 and 20, oh, how abundant is thy goodness that thou, the eye, hast laid up for them that fear, for them that reverence, for them that respect thee. Another comment, Solomon sought to have Elohim explain to him what is the reward of acts of mercy. Of that, Elohim says, according to Hosea 6 and 6, I desire mercy and not sacrifice. Thereupon Hakadosh Baruch Hu quoted to Shlomo that which was written and said, long ago I wrote, according to Deuteronomy 7 and 9, know therefore that Yahweh Eloheka, that Jehovah, the I Elohim, that he is Elohim, the faithful Elohim, who keepeth covenant and mercy with them that love him and keep his commandments. Another comment. Shlomo, Solomon sought to have Elohim explain to him when the year of redemption would come, the year of that we read even in Song of Songs of Solomon 3 and 5. I charge you not to stir up nor awake love till he desire. Thereupon HaKadosh Baruch Hu quoted that which was written and said, long ago I wrote, according to Isaiah 63 and 4, the day of vengeance shall be in my heart until my year of redemption will come. Rav Shemuel Samuel taught in the name of Rav Yehuda, Judah, if a man tells you when the day of redemption is coming, do not believe him. For it is written in Isaiah 63 and 4, the day of vengeance shall be in my heart. If the heart does not disclose its secrets to the mouth, how can the mouth disclose anything? Rav Berakaya and Rav Simon, in the name of Rav Yehoshua ben Lewi, Joshua ben Levi, maintained that HaKadosh Baruch Hu said to Shlomo, for thy benefit I supplied 3 clues to the sepulchre of Moses, as it is said in Devarim, in Deuteronomy 34 and 6. And he buried him in the valley, in the land of Moab, over against Beth Peor. Yet, in spite of all, no man knoweth his sepulchre to this day. Though I provided so many clues in this matter, no man has been able to solve it. How much more unlikely, then, is the discovery of the time of redemption? Of that it is said even in Daniel 12 and 9. The words are closed up and sealed till the time of the end. A further comment on Almut Liban, concealed from the heart. Almut Liban. Rav Abba Bar Kahana said, the verse in Proverbs 5 and 6, lest thou shouldest ponder the path of life, means that you are not to sit down and ponder the precepts of HaTorah to pick out the one precept whose reward is most abundant and then heed that one alone. For the verse goes on to say, her ways have been moved, that thou canst not know them. That is, the ways of reward in HaTorah, the Torah, have been moved out of sight. Rav Chia related the mashal, the parable, the misale of a melech, of a negus, even negus neges, who had an orchard. Into that he brought workmen, without revealing to them the reward for planting the orchard. Had he revealed to them the reward for planting its several kinds of trees, the workmen would have picked out the kind of tree for whose planting there was the greatest reward and would have planted that kind only. Thus, like this, the work in the orchard would have been neglected at one end and heeded only at the other. So, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Holy One, the Idle One, blessed be He, did not reveal the reward for heeding the different precepts to the Bnei Yisrael, to the children, the sons of Yisrael, the Israelites, in order that they should not choose the most rewarding precept and heed that one only. For then HaTorah, Jah's direction, instruction, the teaching would be heeded at one end and would be neglected at the other. Therefore, the sages taught in the style of HaMishnah, the Mishnah, quote, be as heedful of a minor precept as of a major one, for you do not know the reward for the heeding of the different precepts. Hence, it is said in Proverbs 5 and 6, her ways have been moved, that thou canst not know them. Rav Aha taught in the name of Rav Abba Bar Kahana, In this world, HaKadosh Baruch Hu conceals the reward for the heeding of the various precepts, so that the Bnei Yisrael, the sons, the children of Yisrael, will respect and observe HaTorah as a whole. Thus, when HaKadosh Baruch Hu comes to give them their reward, He will give them the reward for faith and the reward for observance, and will also reveal to them the meaning and the purpose of the various precepts. Hence the phrase Al-Muta Liban means that the rewards for the various precepts are concealed from their hearts. Me'ulmeta Liban. Another comment on Al-Muta Laban, Al-Mut Laben, falls hidden from a son, Al-Mut Laben, refer to the sins, the uckeries a son of Yisrael commits unwittingly, unknowingly. For these his father in Shemayim, as he cleanses men of their iniquities on the Yom HaKippuri, the Day of Atonement, pardons and forgives him. Another comment on Al-Muta Laben, hidden for the son, Al-Mut Laben, means that Elohim hid the day of comfort from David. Another comment, when read as Al-Mut Laben, concerning death for the son. When read as Al-Mut Laben, concerning death for the son, the phrase refers to the death that the father decrees for the son. Though if the son repents, Elohim, the true good, the true God, will purify him of his iniquities, his antiquities. Here, Bain, son, Bain clearly refers to Amo Yisrael, the people of Yisrael, of whom Elohim said, even in Exodus 4:22, Yisrael is my son, my firstborn. Another comment, Al-Mut Laben, concerning the son's death. Al-Mut Laben refers, according to Rav Abba, to the death of David's son. But the Rebbeinu said, as long as that other son of his was alive, David knew that the heart of HaKadosh Baruch Hu was angry with him. But when the son died, David knew that the heart of HaKadosh Baruch Hu became tender toward him. Odeh Yahweh, the call Libi, I will give thanks to Jehovah with my whole heart. Odeh Yahweh, the call Libi, that is, both with my inclination to good, my Yetzer HaTov, and with my inclination to evil, my Yetzer HaRa, so that my heart Libi should not be in conflict. The phrase, my whole heart, the call Libi, is to be read in the light of what Scripture says elsewhere, even in Ecclesiastes 4:13. Better is a poor and a wise child than an old and foolish king who knoweth not to be admonished. The phrase, a poor and wise child, stands for the Yetzer HaTov, the inclination to good. Why is it called wise? Because it directs men into right paths. Why is it called poor? Because not all people pay attention to it. Why is it called a child? Because it becomes part of a man when the child becomes 13. The phrase, an old and foolish king, stands for the Yetzer HaRa, the inclination to evil. Why is it called king? Because all parts of the body heed it. Why is it called old? Because it is part of a man from his youth to his old age. As it is said, even in Bereshit, Genesis 8:21, for the disposition of a man's heart is evil from his youth. That is, from the time the hour that he was expelled from his mother's womb. Why is it called foolish? Because it directs men into evil paths. For out of the bushes he came forth to be king, in Ecclesiastes 4 and 14. For out of the bushes he came forth to be king. That is, like one lurking among bushes, the inclination to evil, the Yetzer HaRa'ah, comes forth to entangle men and people. The verse concludes, whereas also in his kingdom the poor is brought forth. That is, the inclination to good, the Yetzer HaTov, is brought forth in the very kingdom of the Yetzer HaRa'ah, the inclination to evil. Isapara kol anifaloteka, I will tell of all thy marvelous works. Isapara kol anifaloteka, I will tell of all thy marvelous works. Here, today's daily Psalm, Psalm 9, here, Hebraically, verse 2. What a marvel it is, that of thy works that have been sufficient for the past, and there will be sufficient for the future, sufficient for this life, and sufficient for the Olam Haba, for the world to come. Esmecha we'e'ezah bak, I will be glad and rejoice in the eye. Esmecha we'e'ezah bak. That is in Torah Teka, in the eye Torah, the eye's direction instructions, that is written in an alphabet, an aleph base of 22 letters. 22 being equal to the sum of Beit and Ka in Bak, in the eye. Or, I will be glad, Bak, in the eye. That is, in thy, the eye, deliverance. In the eye, deliverance. Izamra Shimka Elyon, I will sing praise. Eyes is Izamra. I will chant eyes is Izamra Shimka, to the eye's name, Shimka Elyon, most high, Elyon, to thy name, highest among all names, among all Shemot. Bishub oibai achor, the words, when mine enemies are turned back. Bishub oibai achor. Here in today's daily Psalm, Psalm 9, Hebraically verse 4, mean, according to Rav Yudan, quote, when mine enemies in their backsliding show how really corrupt they are, end quote. But according to Rav Phineas, these words mean, quote, when mine enemies are made to turn back by the means described in the verse from 1 Samuel 23:27. There came a messenger to Shaul, to Saul, saying, haste thee and turn back, for the Philistines have made a raid upon the land. That is, the messenger came from above. His coming being referred to by David in the verse in 2 Samuel 22:17 that reads, he sent from above, he took me. He sent from above, he took I. Another comment on Bishu oibai achor, when mine enemies are turned back. Rav Huna took the words to mean, quote, when mine enemies turn back because of the shame ordained for them in the Olam Haba, in the time to come, end quote. This interpretation is in the name of Samuel, Shemuel. For Shemuel, Samuel used to say, quote, in the Olam Haba, in the time the eye was to come, Hagoyim, the nations of the earth will come and prostrate themselves before their idols, in whom there will be no power to save them. As it is said, even in Psalm 18, verses 41 to 42, mine enemies will cry, but there will be none, no one to save them. And then they will turn away and cry to Hakadosh Baruch Hu, to the Holy One, the Isla One. Blessed be He, but He will hide His face from them, as it is said, even to Yahweh, to Jehovah, but He will not answer them. The end of the verse. Yikashlu we yobdu mipaneka, they shall fall and perish in thy presence. Here, today's daily psalm, Psalm 9, Hebraically here, the dilate verse, here, the end of the fourth verse. Yikashlu, wi yobadu, mipaneka, they shall fall and perish in thy presence, means that Yisrael said to HaKadosh Baruch Ribon Shel Olamim, master of the universe, the universal master, when mine enemies had no sin, no akri, other than that of going into Beitika, the I bait, into the I house, and speaking brazenly in thy presence. Yikashlu with Yobadu, they shall fall and perish. Ki osita mishapatia wadini, thou hast maintained my right and my cause. Ki osita mishpatia wadini. Here, today's daily psalm, Psalm 9, here Hebraically, the fifth verse. Ki osita mishpati wadini, thou hast maintained my right and my cause. The phrase, my right and my cause, mishpatiya wadini, is one of the 5 instances in Scripture where 2 words identical in meaning are used. Namely, thou hast maintained my right and my cause in Psalm 7 and 5. In Job 16 and 19, my witness, and he that testifieth of me, of I, is on high. And in Job 39 and 5, who have